going on, YouTube? What is up, YouTube? What is going on? The Bengals just had their first pick. Of course, everybody mock drafted. Everybody's mock draft, they had Joe Burrow going to the Bengals. So that is a great move for them, and they can get started on their franchise. It's kind of weird, this setup that they have, though. But, I mean, there's not much you could do. Because they already had Joe Burrow selected before the Bengals pick was even in. So Joe Burrow goes to the Cincinnati Bengals, a move that everybody saw coming. But what is up, YouTube? Make sure to comment, like, and subscribe, man. Yes, we are here. The setup took a long time, but we are done. We are here, and that's all that matters now. Shout out to Gaming Authority, too. Make sure you go subscribe to their channel for all Madden defenses, blitz packages, everything under the sun when it comes to Madden. Check out Gaming Authority. Go make sure to subscribe to them as well. Let me finish getting the setup right. I got a couple moves, a couple things that I have to do before I can get everything done correctly. So with the second pick, the Washington Redskins are up, and they are at the 7-minute mark now. Yeah, Joe Burrow is a monster, man. He broke an FBS record last year in 2019 with 60 touchdowns. So shout out to Joe Burrow. It was a great pick by the Bengals. Andy Dalton over the last years has definitely faltered, even though I still believe he's a solid, serviceable quarterback. But now they get the new fresh start with Joe Burrow, who will definitely be the franchise quarterback for years to come. I know they moved on from Marvin Lewis, and he was with Andy Dalton throughout his NFL career. He was one of the ones that wanted to draft him. So now they're bringing in a new regime, and Joe Burrow is now the starting quarterback for the Cincinnati Bengals. So, like I said, in my mock draft, I had him going to the Bengals with the first pick. It's looking really good right now. I'm curious to see what the Redskins do. A lot of teams are trying to move up to at least the top 5. I heard the Falcons were trying to move up, possibly for Chase Young, but I don't see that happening. I think the Redskins will do the right thing and take Chase Young, defensive end out of Ohio State, with this next pick. Wow. Yeah, see, I really think Joe Burrow is going to be nice, though. He definitely had the highest upside in the draft, so shout out to Joe Burrow. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of LSU players taken in this first round, too, man. It's definitely going to be wild. Yeah, so that's what's up. He's there with his mom and his pops. But Joe Burrow definitely... See, the thing with Joe Burrow is he has a lot of accuracy. He knows how to read a play, but his arm strength, he's lacking that elite arm strength. So he is sort of like Drew Brees in that regard. Drew Brees still gets the job done, which Joe Burrow will do as well. His arm strength's not ideal. He doesn't have a cannon for an arm, but he is extremely accurate, and he can throw on the run too. So shout out to Joe Burrow, man. Hopefully he has a great year. You know, possibly rookie of the year, but we'll see where everybody else goes in this draft. But most of the time, I say it's a quarterback that wins rookie of the year. All right, let me try to get this set up. So, yes, the Redskins pick is in. Like I said, in my mock draft, I had Chase Young going to the Redskins, as did a lot of people. So we'll see how that goes. But to me, Chase Young is the best player in the draft by far. All right, 1 second. Just have to do this. All right, that. Let me get to this. Yeah, so a lot of people had Chase Young going to the Redskins, which would be crazy because they also have Montez Sweat, but I think they're going to move that to... They're probably going to move them because with Ron Rivera, with us, we played a 3-4 defense. So we didn't even have a 4-3, which Montez Sweat would be great at, and Chase Young. So I'm curious to see if he's going to change his philosophy with that. Yeah, LSU for the last year, man, them and Alabama. I feel like Alabama's had the most running backs and safeties come out in the draft in the last 5 years, man. And Alabama's been on the top for the longest, probably about 4 or 5 years now. But yes, the Redskins pick is in. I definitely think it's going to be Chase Young. They need defense now that they have Haskins and they have Ron Rivera. I like Ron Rivera a lot, man. I don't know why a lot of people gave him hate here in Carolina, but he is a great coach for the Redskins, and I think he'll definitely turn that franchise around.
Well, we all knew this was coming. Not that they get any less powerful. Joe, you were in Nashville last year for the draft.
Let's go.
I said to you then, you're going to be #1 overall in 2020. What would you have said?
I was told you were crazy. You know, I knew.
Yeah, and it's kind of crazy too with the Bengals because AJ Green is still on the team. They're probably going to draft a receiver too.
To jump up to #1 overall is crazy to me. But it's a dream come true.
No Piper.
Alright, that's done.
Going into last season, he had a 6th-round grade on you, but then you won the Heisman, a national title, you're #1 overall. How do you process that?
Let me just finish posting a couple things here.
It's pretty simple. I worked really hard to get better. All my guys worked really hard to get better. We just gelled as a team this year to do exactly what we did.
Yeah, so great pick by the Bengals, man. Let's get this going. I'm just trying to add a little bit more to the setup right now.
740 is the Athens County area.
Alright, so that's done.
Represent my home area.
That's done.
He made this for me. It's been great.
I also have a list of rankings that I'm about to upload now
Joe, congratulations. #1.
and post onto the live.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
So let's go, Redskins. And it looks like that is Chase Young with the call. Yup, Chase Young will be the pick for the Washington Redskins, man. Let's go. Best player in the draft, man.
Defensive end in this board, the best player, quite frankly, in this draft, based on total talent. If you look at Matt Powell, let's tell you a little bit about.
So Chase Young is more so a Julius Peppers type player too. I think he ran a 4.5 40 at the combine, but he's a freakish athlete who knows how to get to the quarterback. I think he had 18 or 16 and a half sacks last year. So definitely will help the Redskins, especially since Ryan Kerrigan's on his way out as well. Wow. So for Ohio State, Mike Vrabel and Chase Young are the 2 top players with sacks in their entire college career. That's crazy. Yeah, I think Ron Rivera will do a great job for the Redskins, man. Alrighty, so let's see. A couple things I gotta do. Alright, so with the second pick, it is about to be official now. Chase Young. Yup, so the Redskins do in fact take Chase Young, the best player in the draft to me. I have him ranked as the #1 player in the draft. Definitely a force to be reckoned with on defense, man. On Madden, I see him probably like an 86, 87 speed. Swim moves crazy. Has a lot of strength as well. So I think Chase Young will be a great player. He definitely reminds me of Julius Peppers, but even more athletic than that. So I'm curious to see how it goes, but I know in Madden he's definitely going to be a beast. A lot of people are going to be spamming with him. But I'm just curious to see if they're going to have him as a 4-3 defensive end or if they're going to use him in a 3-4 scheme. Knowing Ron Rivera ran a 3-4 with us during his tenure here, which is kind of weird because Montez Sweat really isn't an outside linebacker. He's more of a hand on the ground 4-3 defensive end, as is Chase Young. So I'm curious to see how they're going to have that tandem. But regardless, they're definitely going to put pressure on the quarterback. So that is a great move for them Redskins. They definitely have to develop Dwayne Haskins, get him some help. I know he has Terry McLaurin, who was nice for him last year, but they have to work on the offense now. The defense is looking pretty good because Ryan Kerrigan will be on his way out soon. Yeah, so his defensive coach, Larry Johnson, definitely had him in a great position. to succeed. He had 16.5 sacks last year, so that tells you a lot right there. And forgive me, y'all, I'm still trying to get some things set up because I'm trying to post my top 100 video in here, just so you have something to view rather than just, watch me talk. But definitely the best player in the draft, if not the best defensive player in the draft, period. And it looks like the Lions, I think I have the Lions trading back in this situation. I have them trading back with the Chargers, grabbing a quarterback. Yeah, see. Quarterback Justin Herbert, so I definitely think that they would make that move. That's what I had in my mock draft. I know it's a stretch when you take in the trades and you factor everything in, but I really think the Lions will trade this pick. So they have 2 minutes and 37 seconds to make the selection, but I really think that they'll trade. And it's looking like Miami or the Chargers might trade up, because if they don't believe in Tua, which a lot of people think that he was going to slide in the draft, then they would try to move up to get Justin Herbert. Because at the end of the day, if you like a quarterback to a point where you should move up and get him in the draft, then you do that, man. Because if you wait too long and you take Tua and you're not even sure of his injury history, apparently he's fine, but you don't know. If your guy is ahead of him and you think somebody will take him, then you have to trade up. So right now, Detroit, the pick is in. So it doesn't even look like it's been traded. So Detroit looks like they stayed pat. A lot of people had Isaiah Simmons going in this spot. If the Lions did stay on course, I would say they would have taken Jeffrey Okudah, the cornerback from Ohio State. So I'm curious to see what they do with this pick, because I definitely thought it was going to be a trade, man. Especially since a lot of people were trying to get in the top 5. Alright, so if I had to say what this pick is, I'll probably say Jeffrey Okudah. Unless they want to go crazy and shock everybody and take Justin Herbert, I don't see that happening. I'm still looking to see if there's going to be a trade, because I definitely think that might be the move, but it's looking like they made the pick, so I don't see them drafting somebody and then trading out. But a lot of people had them taking Jeffrey Okudah. Hopefully they don't take Isaiah Simmons, because I want the Panthers to grab Isaiah Simmons, because he's considered a top 3 player in the draft as well. He ran a 4.38 at the combine as a middle linebacker, so that is nuts. Like in Madden, he'll probably be like a 92 speed, which would be crazy. It'll be up there with Montez Sweat. I think has a 91 speed too. So Matt Patricia is gonna make his first top 10 pick for the Detroit Lions. So the Lions selection is coming up right now. Jeff Okudah is the pick for the Lions. Exactly who I had mocked to them if they did not decide to make a trade. So that is a great move from the Lions. They just lost Darius Slay. So for the Lions, that is a great move, man. That is what's up. So back-to-back Ohio State players. The top corner in the draft, freakish athleticism, is fast. He's a lockdown corner. They said that he's not too great in zone, but you can always teach that. But as a man-to-man cover corner, Jeffrey Okudah is definitely the best in the draft. A top 5 player in the draft overall. Let's go. So the Lions get Okudah out of Ohio State. Oh, damn. So his mom died in January 2017. That sucks, man. So the Giants are up with 7 minutes left. And it's crazy because I really thought they would trade back, but if not, because I had them trading back and still selecting Jeffrey Okudah. So this is a great move for them, man. A lot of people thought that they might get stingy and take a quarterback with Justin Herbert, but I mean, Matt Stafford still has some juice left, man. It's just they got to put the rest of the team together. I'm curious to see how that goes, but right now it's not looking as good. But on defense, they're definitely getting better with Jeffrey Okudah, especially since you're going in a division where you got to go up against Adam Thielen, like those kind of guys, man. So you need that. You can't slack off when it comes to corners in the league. I feel like the corners are I would say second most important position on defense outside of the middle linebacker, because literally when the game's on the line and you need somebody to make a play, you need corners to at least be able to cover. I mean, you need the lineman to be able to rush as well, but a corner is what gets the job done. If you're talking about taking out a top wide receiver like a DeAndre Hopkins or anything like that, or at least containing those players, you need a top corner, and Jeffrey Okudah, I feel as though, will be that guy. So, good move by the Lions. The Giants are up. Hopefully they don't take Isaiah Simmons, man, because I will be pissed if they take Isaiah Simmons. I have them taking Tristan Wirfs, I believe. So, Tristan Wirfs, I have the Giants mock. And the funny thing is, Dave Gettleman used to be our general manager for the Carolina Panthers. So, I'm curious to see, because he's low-key is a great GM. A lot of people don't like him because he is known to get rid of top players on the team for the wellness of the team. For example, for us, when he first came in, he got rid of D'Angelo Williams. He got rid of Steve Smith. The whole Josh Norman tagging him and then untagging him. He became a free agent. So Dave Gettleman trading away Odell. Literally, Dave Gettleman, no matter what he does, everything, all the moves that he's made in the draft has been, I would say, top moves. Like Daniel Jones last year. Everybody laughed at him because he selected Daniel Jones. But Daniel Jones wound up balling last year. I think he had 25 touchdowns and 12 picks, so he fooled us. I really think Dave Gettleman is a master GM. I know he was diagnosed with cancer a couple years back. He was trying to get his health back together. But I think as far as his mindset goes and what he wants to do or what he values in a franchise, I think that Gettleman will definitely get the job done for the Giants. You figure they already have Daniel Jones. They already have Saquon. Sterling Shepard's still on the team, so they're definitely building that offense. Definitely. 1 second, because I'm trying to connect to the chat. For some reason, it won't let me connect to the chat. Let me see if I can. Daniel Jones. They already have. Oh, here we go. I see who's in the chat now. What's up, Gaming Authority? Shout out to Gaming Authority. Again, make sure to go follow them and subscribe, especially if you love Madden. If Madden's your game, you have to go to Gaming Authority for all of your plays. Make sure to cop those ebooks, man, because they definitely help me a lot. I've been playing Madden a lot recently, and for some reason my defense has been lacking. So I've definitely been checking out those videos. Make sure to go subscribe to them. I also have them on my subscriber list, so make sure to go follow them ASAP, especially if you play Madden. And if you play Players Lounge, it is a must, because any Players Lounge player will use a nano blitz or a base 3-4 defense. Any blitzes out of that, if you're looking for packages like that, Gaming Authority is the spot. What's up, Robert Ewing? Yeah, I had them taking Tristan Wirfs too, man. I definitely had them taking him. And he was a wrestler in high school, so he's athletic for a big man too, and he also has the strength. So I definitely feel as though the Giants would go there, but I'm scared they might take Isaiah Simmons. I really want Isaiah Simmons, so if the Panthers get him, I'll be ecstatic, man. I'll definitely be ecstatic. And also, make sure to go follow GoLiveT-shirts.com and make sure to join their website as well. They have all Gaming Authority, sportswear, t-shirts, all of that. So shout out to them. Make sure to go follow them as well. Let's go, Eagles. Anybody that knows me knows I'm from Philadelphia, but I never liked the Eagles. Like, never liked the Eagles. And a lot of people hated me for that. And they still do. But my whole thing was the fans, man. The fans were just terrible to me. But I'll tell you what, after that Super Bowl, they're definitely more humble now. Definitely more humble. So shout out to the Eagles, man. I had the Eagles getting a wide receiver. I believe I had them taking Denzel Mims, because I think somebody will trade up to take Justin Jefferson. But The Giants have 1 minute and 37 seconds left on the clock, so they possibly could be trying to work out a trade. I'm not sure, but as long as they don't take Isaiah Simmons, I'll be happy. But yeah, man, the Eagles, they might move up to take Henry Ruggs, but I have the Cowboys actually moving up to take Jerry Jeudy too. So I'm curious to see how that goes, man. But the pick is in. The Giants pick is in. In my mock, I have them going Tristan Wirfs. So far 3 for 3 if you don't count the trade. Even though I did have the trade, I did have Jeffrey Okudah slated to the Lions. So I'm curious to see what the Giants do. Like I said, their offense is looking pretty good. Now, if I were them, I would go Isaiah Simmons because you're working on your defensive captain. You're working on your defense in general. You want to start off with a linebacker. So I would say Isaiah Simmons would be my pick. But knowing Dave Gettleman, you have to protect Daniel Jones at all costs. You got rid of Odell. They're building that offense. You got to build that offensive line because that's what was their downfall last year, as well as defense. So they can go either or at this rate. Yeah, bro. I mean, I respect the Giants, though. That's the thing. I don't like the Eagles, but I always kind of like the Giants. Not even because they're in the division, but I've always liked the setup, man. Like, I like Tiki Barber when they had Tiki. Like, they always got the job done. They were always underrated, and the fact that they beat the Patriots is cool, too. So the Giants pick is in. I have them selecting Tristan Wirfs out of Iowa. So let's see how this goes. Damn, so Joe Judge isn't even in the room to make the pick. So it's got to be, yeah. All right, so it looks like Dave Gettleman is going to make the pick. I definitely think it's going to be a lineman, man. They could go middle linebacker too, but I definitely see them going with Tristan Wirfs. So I'm curious to see what happens. I really think that they will do that, though. It only makes sense. You got to protect him, man. You got to protect both of your first round picks. You got Saquon and Daniel Jones in the first round, so why not protect them with a top lineman in the draft? All right, let me see if this video is actually done downloading yet. All right, the pick is in. The Giants select oh, wow, they went Andrew Thomas instead. Another offensive tackle, but was supposed to be taken later on in the first round. So they decided to go OT, but they did not take Tristan Wirfs. Wow. Andrew Thomas at number 4, though. They should have definitely traded back. But here's where things get interesting, man. Miami and the Chargers are on the clock. So to me, the Dolphins will definitely be taking Justin Herbert. If they go Tua, I wouldn't be mad at him, but it's not looking too good as far as injury history, especially when you're a quarterback and you already have an injury history coming in. It's not a good look because he is also a two-way player. So just like Cam Newton, I was a big Cam Newton fan, man. Probably one of my favorite quarterbacks of all time. But the one thing I can say is he often got injured. And one of the main reasons because he ran the ball too much. I feel like a lot of those, like my style preference, I would definitely want a scrambling quarterback. But it can't be their main thing. Like Russell Wilson early in his career started off as a two-way runner, ran out of the option. He was a mobile quarterback. But in years present, he has definitely developed into a pocket passer who can scramble. So that's the difference. They're not run-first kind of QBs. Like Lamar Jackson got a little bit in his first year was run-first, but definitely elevated his game to the point where he is now a great two-way player. Wow. I was not expecting them to take Andrew Thomas that early. But nonetheless, it is still a good pick because you get help on the offensive line for Daniel Jones. So the concept is still the same. It's just the player is nowhere near as expected. I don't even think he was considered the top lineman in the draft, to tell you the truth. So I am 3 for 4 right now in my mock, so not too bad. Not too bad at all. But I definitely had Detroit trading back. See, it's kind of tricky when you're doing a mock draft and you're discussing trades. A lot of that stuff is hard to predict. But yes, the Dolphins are on the clock. Of course, they lost Ryan Tannehill to the Titans. Laramie Tunsil went to the Texans, and Minka Fitzpatrick went to the Steelers for their first-round pick. And other notable players, Robert Quinn is gone, Kenny Stills, Kiko Alonso, and Kenyon Drake, who they traded last year that I feel like is a baller. Kenyon Drake is going to be a monster for the Cardinals, and that offense is looking crazy right now. But we're talking about the Dolphins, and the Dolphins need a quarterback. I would be shocked if they moved out of this pick or if they didn't select Herbert, man, because they need a quarterback bad. And I don't even remember the last dominant quarterback that the Dolphins had. I remember they drafted Chad Pennington, and Pennington was terrible, man. Or they had Pennington. They had him. I think he was drafted by the Jets, if I'm not mistaken. Fitzpatrick was solid for them as a journeyman quarterback, but I don't remember the Dolphins having. I think the last time they got a notable quarterback was Dante Culpepper, and he sucked once he left the Vikings and went to the Dolphins. So it's been a long time since we saw a franchise-type quarterback for the Miami Dolphins. But I definitely think that Herbert will be the pick. Robert, I definitely think so. Steve, Cam, come on, man. I feel like nobody respects Cam, man. Yeah. For real, if he breaks Michael Vick's rushing yards total, I think he will be considered a fringe Hall of Famer. Definitely not first ballot, just by everything that he's accomplished, man. I mean, Cam Newton went to Florida. He got kicked out of Florida. After that, he went to Blinn College, 16-0, won the championship, won MVP. Then after that, the year after, went to Auburn, undefeated, won a championship, MVP, Heisman. Then he goes to the NFL, wins Rookie of the Year. Then after Rookie of the Year, wins MVP, and then goes to the Super Bowl. So every single level of Cam Newton's career has been achievement after achievement after achievement. So if he did win the Super Bowl, which it doesn't look like he's going to now, especially because he's been hurt, he's not even on a team right now. But if you look at Cam Newton's history, like even if you research everything that Cam Newton has accomplished, it's been a lot, man. So he's definitely fringe Hall of Famer, not based off of passing or Pro Bowls or anything like that, but just strictly like as of now, Cam Newton's probably the best two-way player of all time next to Frank Tarkenton. Other than that, there hasn't been quarterbacks that have been able to rush like that because they usually don't last long because of injury history. So for all y'all hating on Cam, I don't know what to tell you, man. Cam was great for us. Obviously, he's gone, and we need a receiver. But I need another quarterback and a receiver. So now the Dolphins pick is in, and I definitely think they're going to select Justin Herbert, man. There'd be no reason not to at this point. And if they like Tua enough, I'd say go ahead. But me personally, I'm not taking Tua because of his injury history. All right, so and the Dolphins, I don't even know, with all those notable players leaving, man, I don't even know who else they would take in this situation. Like, they're already getting rid of first-round picks, like with Minka Fitzpatrick, who is considered a top 10 pick, man. I don't know what the Dolphins are doing. I don't know what their GM is doing or what he's thinking. But if they don't go quarterback here, I don't know where they go. They got to take Herbert, man. They have to. All right, so I'm still trying to get this video up as I go through these picks here. All right, so the pick is in. Let's see what the commissioner announces. I'm saying Justin Herbert. Oh, wow. So they did go Tua. Wow. I like Tua. Like I said, I don't agree with taking a two-way player that already has an injury history, man. I definitely think he could ball out, but I feel like Justin Herbert would have definitely been a safer pick. And it's crazy because leading up to the draft in the last week, a lot of people thought that Tua was going to slide. Like, that's all you heard for the last 2 weeks was that he was sliding. So that obviously meant that the Dolphins were iffy about taking him, as well as the Chargers, because if you look around the league, there aren't a lot of teams that need quarterbacks. So for them to make that statement shows that the Dolphins were kind of leery on taking Tua or the Chargers. But yeah, that dislocated hip, man. Like his injuries just kept piling up. But I think he'll be good. But the other thing is they need a line now. So you're gonna draft Tua, and you don't have a lineman that can protect him at all, which is sketchy to me, man. It doesn't seem like a good fit. But if they can get an O lineman, I would say okay. But I give them a B- for the pick, man. Definitely a B-. Everybody else so far, A's, except for the Giants. I give them a C+ for that move. But B- for Tua Tagovailoa is going to the Dolphins. And we'll see what happens. Devontae Parker is still there. They do need a second receiver. Kenny Stills is gone. Literally the whole offense is gone. So I wouldn't be surprised if they also took DeAndre Swift, the running back out of Georgia, because they need a running back. Kalen Ballage is straight ass. I'm sorry, but even in Madden, he sucks. I remember I had him in one of my leagues. I think he's got like an 86, 87 speed. So when we're talking about Madden, it's completely different than the NFL when it comes to speed and everything like that, because these players make it work for them. But Kalen Ballage cannot get it done. And Kenyon Drake, to me, was a sleeper for the last 2 years in fantasy. But being on the Dolphins definitely hurt his stock. Stock will be going up this year with the Arizona Cardinals. Right, is this video up yet? Yes, it is. Okay. Alright, so Tua goes to the Dolphins. Next up is the Chargers. Now, I don't think they would take Isaiah Williams, but I wouldn't be surprised if they did. If the Panthers skip on him, I will be so pissed, because I don't want Derrick Brown. I mean, I wouldn't mind taking Derrick Brown, but the fact that Isaiah Simmons is on the board and he didn't take him, that would really piss me off. But we'll see what happens, man. We'll see what's going on. So they're comparing him to Mark Brunell, because he does have touch on the deep ball. He can definitely sling the ball. There's no question about his talent. It's just the fact that he can't stay healthy, and going behind that Dolphins offensive line, I don't know how that's going to work out in the long run. But we will see how it all shapes up after this. But yes, the Chargers are on the clock. They have 4 minutes left. Still trying to get this video ready, y'all. I'm sorry. The setup took a long time. I was having technical difficulties, unfortunately. But I will be hooking this up right. Alright, so that's done. That's done.
Thanks very much. So again, left-handers, here's what we're talking about. Boomer Esiason leads the way with most left-handed touchdowns. So the left Tua is a real thing. Lane Kiffin, when he was with Bama, went up there to scout him, and as soon as he saw the kid play, he said, "I found the next Steve Young." He threw it as a 13-year-old. He got to do a lot of practice.
All right. So the Chargers are still on the board. What do the Chargers do? I say Justin Herbert. I was wrong. I had the Dolphins taken Tua. I definitely had them taken Tua in my mock draft. So right now I am 4 for 5 when it comes to the... I feel like the top 10, top 15 are easy to do. It's just after that, because you literally are blindsided by people moving up and down in the draft. So far, I am 4 out of 5. That Tristan Wirfs to the Giants I thought was set and sealed, but obviously they felt as though Andrew Thomas was the guy. So the Chargers are up. They have to take Justin Herbert, man. I definitely think they're going Justin Herbert. They lost Phillip Rivers. They lost Melvin Gordon. So to me, they're rebuilding. I know a couple Chargers fans that feel as though they're not completely diminished, but their defense, I mean, you still have Bosa. You have a solid defense. The offense definitely needs improvement. And I'm curious to see how they change that offense. You still have key pieces like Keenan Allen, Hunter Henry when he's healthy, but the Chargers' whole issue for the last 7 years has been injury, man. Everybody's been injured on the Chargers. We're talking offensive players, defensive players, running backs, cornerbacks, safeties, D-ends, everything for the Chargers. For the last 4 to 7 years, it's just been injury after injury after injury, and they can't catch a break. They're always in close games, and at the end just find a way to lose it in the most dramatic fashion possible. So I'm curious to see what happens with that. So we'll see what happens, but I'm curious to see how this goes, man. But the Chargers pick is in. I'm definitely thinking Justin Herbert. There hasn't been any trades so far, and the Panthers are on the clock with the 7th pick. Isaiah Simmons definitely has to be the guy. If not, if we even trade back from 7, if we don't take Isaiah Simmons alone, I'll be pissed. But if we decide to trade back and take Javon Kinlaw, because there's been a lot of interest in Javon Kinlaw for the Carolina Panthers, I would be pissed off of that alone. So crazy, but I'm excited because I don't think the Chargers will take Isaiah Simmons, man. And he is considered the top 3 in the draft. Top 3 in the draft. Alright, so the pick is in. And in my mock draft, I had them taking Justin Herbert. I just had them taking him in a different way. I had them moving up past where the Giants selected and taking Justin Herbert. So the draft is the pick. Justin Herbert, quarterback out of Oregon. Alright, so far I am 4 out of 5. 5 out of 6 now with this pick. So the mock draft is going pretty smooth right now, outside of Andrew Thomas, but I don't think anybody saw that coming. So 5 out of 6 so far. 7, I have us taking Isaiah Simmons. I'm excited for this pick. I don't know how to feel because the Panthers have been making some stupid moves as of late. The thing with McCaffrey, I mean, to me personally, I wouldn't have paid him that kind of money. I just feel as though running backs really don't translate to wins. You know what I mean? So it's kind of, whoa, what is this? Okay.
Much more
so somebody else is.
Than I predicted, and
yeah, no, that's not
didn't
right.
have the greatest of predictions.
So yeah, I really think the Panthers go Isaiah Simmons, man. Let's go. We're talking about a middle linebacker that runs a 4.38 and can cover all sides of the field. Was also a safety in high school. Even played some safety in college. So you're talking about a guy who has range, has speed, and I need him for Madden, bro. I need Isaiah Simmons in Madden. We lost Luke Kuechly. We lost Cam Newton. I'll play with the Panthers regardless. I was playing with the Panthers when we had Jimmy Clausen, so it doesn't really matter to me. It's my squad. I just got to make it work. But it would definitely help out in Madden on defense if we did take Isaiah Simmons. We still have Kawan Short on the defensive line. So I don't think it's necessarily a need that we have to take him right now, but I'm curious to see. Hold 1 second. Hello? Yo, bro. Nah, I'm actually live streaming the draft. Well, what's up, though? Oh, for For real, I probably won't be able to play until tomorrow, bro. Yeah, but probably like around like 6. Yeah, it might be early. I'll definitely let you know though, but I'll definitely get that going. Yeah, yup. All right, bro. Good luck. Madden talk, man. Madden talk. They don't want any smoke in that league. I just had to beat somebody. It's a 38-10 yesterday. So they don't want any smoke, man. But that's what I'm saying, man. You had to check out. You got to check out Game and Authority, man. You got to get that defense right, because that's what I had to do. Like, I was lacking in defense, no lie. Like, I just hopped back on, and my defense has just been looking nasty. Yeah. Game and Authority is where it's at. If you want to look up nano blitzes, blitz packages out of the 3-4, any defense, we got all the plays for you, man. Over 300 plays, so make sure you go subscribe to them. Go check their channel out ASAP. So the Panthers pick is in, which means we did not trade the pick. So you're about to get a crazy live reaction now. Because if we do wind up taking Isaiah Simmons, I'll be ecstatic, man. I'll be ecstatic. But yeah, like I said, the Panthers are definitely in rebuild mode. You're not going to hear me talk trash about the for the Panthers in a long time. I keep everything real. I'm definitely not a biased fan, man. That's the one thing I hate, is a biased fan, because no matter what you say about their team, it's one thing to support them. It's another thing to go above and beyond and just state things that aren't true and just based off of opinions. So to me, the Panthers are trash. Teddy Bridgewater is okay at best. So to me, man, I say I definitely don't want any other position than a linebacker, because Luke Kuechly is gone and we have to replace him. It's a must, man. It's definitely a must. But yes, the Panthers are up. The pick is in. Anything, if I hear any name other than Isaiah, yo, I'm not gonna be happy. I'll be okay. But the fact that he slid all the way down to the Carolina Panthers would be nuts, considering he's a top 3 player, and we're in perfect position right now. So I better not see a trade or anything pop up, because it's going to be sick, man. I'll be sick. Of course, they go to commercial break too when we're up. Wow. Damn, yo, that sucks. But yeah, like I said, Cam Newton is gone. From what I heard, they're trying to tank next year for Trevor Lawrence, which doesn't make a lot of sense to me, because you can't tank for a player and expect to have the number 1 pick in the draft with all these bad teams. It's not like the NBA where you'll have a team that has 10 wins and the next team will have 20 wins or 15. The discrepancy between, like, you can have 3 teams with the same record in the NFL, and you still won't have the first overall pick. So it gets kind of tricky when you try to tank that way. If you tank in basketball, it is completely different. But in football, it's a whole different game, because you aren't guaranteed to get that pick, even if you do decide to tank, which is one of the reasons why I believe they could have traded McCaffrey, and they still had the possibility of doing that. But I wouldn't advise it. But if it came to moving up in the draft, if we were like the 5th pick, and there's been talks that, speaking of McCaffrey's actually on there now. If we had the chance to get Trevor Lawrence, I wouldn't mind trading McCaffrey at all. Because at the end of the day, it's about the quarterback and it's about the linemen that get it done. When you're talking about the playoffs and you're down in a game, you don't rely on the running back to make a big play. I mean, Christian McCaffrey also catches the ball. I understand that. But you're talking about if you have to gain 30 or 40 yards, you're not going to your running back in that situation. So I don't know how we're going to do it, but we need a quarterback. I wouldn't mind taking Jalen Hurts in the 3rd round, but I really think the Colts might take him with the 2nd round, because they don't have a 1st round pick to use. You know, so the Panthers pick is in. Let's see what is up. So yes, our new coach Matt Rule, who has never played never been a coach or coached a head coach in the NFL. I'm not gonna say coach because he was with the Giants for a while. Wind up going to Temple. Turned the Temple program around. They were hot for a year. After he left Temple, I mean, the people in Philly loved Matt Rule for turning Temple around that year. And after he left Temple, because he flowed to where the money was, Baylor was giving out checks. So he said, you know what, I'm going to go to Baylor. And Baylor, they started off slow, won 3 games, and then improved with him. So the Panthers' selection is up, and they select. Oh my gosh, no, man. They took Derrick Brown, and Isaiah Simmons was on the board. I can't believe this. Wow. I can't believe this. Now, we talked about, jeez, man. Isaiah Simmons is going. Wow. Wow, I cannot believe this, man. Oh, man, that's not good. I do not care about linemen when you don't even have linebackers to lead the team. Isaiah Simmons literally fell into the Panthers' lap, and they disrespected him by taking Derrick Brown. I can't believe this pick, man. Now, if I had to say anybody after Isaiah Simmons, I would say Derrick Brown, but I'm still not happy with the pick. I give the pick a C. The fact that we had a top 3 player, even though Derrick Brown's a top 5, top 6 player in the draft, we need a linebacker because we don't even have a leader on defense right now. I am sick, man. I can't believe this right now. Wow. So it is another thing that I had in my mock draft that I did not get correct. So that is 5 for 7. Derrick Brown. Wow. I had him ranked in my previous mock drafts, but I was like, nah, man, they wouldn't do that if Isaiah Simmons was on the board. The fact that the Chargers and the Dolphins needed a quarterback, I felt like he was going to slide down to the Panthers, and they just completely went the opposite direction with that. I am not happy with the pick. I'm okay with the pick, but I am not happy with it. Wow. And the thing is, like, he's a great run stuffer, but he doesn't really, his pass rushing ability, the Cardinals already picked, which means that it probably is Jarek the lineman out of, is that Louisville, I think? Jedrick Willis. I can't believe that just happened, man. Like, you had Isaiah Simmons right there. Oh, jeez, man. It is what it is, though. Yeah, the Panthers definitely do this every year. I mean, most of the time, Marty Herney gets the picks right, but, yeah, this move was just bad, man. I guess it's yet to be seen, of course, but right now, I'm not liking this, man. I'm definitely not liking this. Alright, so let me get this going real quick. Now that my video is up, I have something playing in the background. Yup, so the Cardinals pick is in. Curious to see who they take. To me, I'm going offensive lineman just based off of the fact that if they do get an offensive lineman, that offense is going to be crazy because you already have DeAndre Hopkins now. You traded for him, which was the best trade that I've seen in the last 3 years for anybody. So shout out to the Cardinals for that. But you're talking about Kyler Murray, who had a pretty good year last year in his first year. DeAndre Hopkins. They traded for Kenyon Drake, who went off for them. So David Johnson was expendable at that point. So The pick is in for the Cardinals. Let's see where they go. I think I have them taking Jedrick Willis, offensive tackle. Oh, they took Isaiah Simmons. Yeah, not shocked at all with that pick, because now they are building on that defense as well. So I give them an A- for the pick, just because they do have to work on their defense as well. But you can always get a lineman later. But this guy, so he was a 3-star recruit out of high school, so that wasn't good at all. But definitely bounced up in college. That's all that matters, is what you're doing now, not what you did in the past. But like I said, he is a linebacker safety hybrid. He reminds me of Thomas Davis. He's also a track star. Mind you, again, if you haven't been listening, this linebacker ran a 4.38, which is the fastest by a middle linebacker ever. The second closest was Patrick Willis, and I think he ran a 4.4 flat. So they have around the same speed, but Isaiah Simmons is a lot taller. I think he's like 6'3" as a linebacker, but can cover the entire field. So literally can play safety, can play linebacker. If you need him to guard a wide receiver, he would be able to do that for you. And that is nuts, man. I can't believe that. That is crazy, man. Wow. So Isaiah Simmons goes to the Cardinals. I didn't think he was going to last at 8. I didn't even think he was going to last to us, to tell you the truth. But there's nothing wrong you can say about Isaiah Simmons, man. Definitely was our pick. If we were going to take Derrick Brown, I was cool with just dropping back at that point. But, you know, it is what it is. Alright, so let me get this video up. Alright, here we go. I cannot believe that just happened, man. Alright, so a little something to look at. I know the let's see. Damn, so my video is not working, but I do have this. Let me see. I'm not gonna do that. But yes, the Cardinals improve on defense. The Jaguars pick is already in. Damn, I got the Jaguars taking. I believe I had them taking Kinlaw, trading back. I'm gonna pull that up right now, but I'm actually about to pull up my mock draft, and I'll have that in the chat as well. YouTube. Come on. But shout out to Gaming Authority, man. Also, Gaming Authority has a Madden League. If you have not checked that out yet, it is called the Daddy's League. Be sure to look that up and see how you can get involved in that, because the league is crazy, man. The setup is crazy. You have all of the statistics, the standings, everything in Madden. So make sure you go follow them. You can just go to daddysleague.com and you can see everything that's going on in the league right now. They also have, like I said, updated statistics every week. It is literally the NFL. So if you love Madden, you love statistics, let's say, for example, me, I'm a guy who likes to run the ball, and McCaffrey will be leading in my league, at least now. In one of my other leagues, I have McCaffrey. He's leading. I think he's like 3rd in receiving and also 1st in rushing. All of those statistics are included in Daddy's League. So it is set up like the real live NFL. So make sure you go follow them and check out their website too, just to see how you can get involved, to see if you can join the league. That is the #1 league, the best league I've ever played in, and I've been playing Madden leagues for the last 5 years. So make sure to go follow them and check them out. Gaming Authority's Daddy's League. But let me try to get this set up real quick. I really want to get this video going so we at least have another element to the draft.
Love them, hate their laundry, rejection. Lysol body sanitizer kills 99.9% of bacteria. The original love.
Ah, man. So next up, who do we have? So right now I think I am like 6 out of 9 for picks, pending this Jacksonville Jaguars pick. They need a receiver. They have Gardner Minshew, who I liked a lot, because Nick Foles just got signed to this crazy contract a year ago, and Nick Foles got hurt, I believe, in the first game of the season. I think he broke his collarbone. Gardner Minshew came in as a 6th-round pick, I believe out of, was it USC? I'm not sure of the college, because Gardner Minshew literally was not on the map at all, on the radar for the draft last year. Got him late in the draft, and he balled out last year with what they did have. DJ Chark had his best year, and as well as D.D. Westbrook, who I feel as though are good, but they would definitely increase as far as their passing game if they do select a receiver. The best receiver in the league, in a lot of people's eyes, is Jerry Jeudy. But when you're talking about a Julio Jones type guy, you're talking about Henry Ruggs III. I have the Jaguars trading back, and what it's looking like now is that they're going to stay put and possibly take Jerry Jeudy. If I had to say who was on the board and who they should select right now, I would say Kinlaw. But the fact that they did pick and they knew who they wanted right away, we might be having the first receiver off the board in a loaded wide receiver draft class. So this is looking like it could be Jerry Jeudy, but I had Javon Kinlaw, but I had them moving back to get Kinlaw. If they stayed put, I would say Jerry Jeudy would be the pick. Right, so after them at 10 we have the Browns, and then after that the Jets. Now I do have another big move coming in this draft. I have Jamal Adams being traded. This was one of my mock drafts with the trades. I have Jamal Adams being traded to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for their pick, and that would work extremely well, noting the fact that the Tampa Bay offense is set. It just comes down to their corners and safeties. But the Jaguars selection is in, so more on that in a minute. Wow. So the Jaguars actually went C.J. Henderson, the cornerback out of Florida, who is ranked the 2nd best corner in the entire draft. To me, it is kind of shocking for them to take him in the top 10. He's definitely a top 10 player, but just for that position, I didn't think the Jaguars would do that. I give them a B for the move because he's definitely a great player. I think he's more athletic than Jeffrey Okudah. And when you think of C.J. Henderson, you're thinking of Champ Bailey. Like, you're thinking of Champ Bailey when you think C.J. Henderson as far as speed goes and athleticism. But I think that he can be a lockdown corner as well. He reminds me of Dante Jackson a couple years ago, that the Panthers selected in the 2nd round as far as speed and ball skills. As far as when the ball's in the air, he knows how to play that. He can take the ball. He can strip the ball. He's a big guy who likes to jump routes. He's extremely fast, has great catch-up speed. So I do think that this was a good pick. I just did not see the Jaguars taking a corner this early. If it were any other team trading up to get him, it would be justifiable to me, but I just didn't think the Jaguars would do that. But I had him going to the Falcons. I had him, the Falcons trading up and then selecting C.J. Henderson. Alright, so let me get my mock draft on here just so we can view it as the draft is going on to see how wrong I've been. All right. Wow, but that's the thing, when you're talking about later on in the draft, it gets kind of tricky. Alright, so that's done. Alright, so next up is the Browns, and their pick is in already. I don't see them going receiver unless they want to trade Odell. There's been a lot of talk that Odell is not happy with the Browns organization, but when is Odell ever happy though? You feel me? Like every team he goes to, it just seems he can't get his way. He wanted to stay with the Giants. He got his money, started acting up. They traded Odell to the Browns and did not show out as if everybody was expecting him to show out, as well as the entire Browns team. Not happy with the Browns organization, but okay. What? So the Browns, everybody had high hopes for the Browns last year, man. I know I did. I'm still a big Baker Mayfield fan. I know a lot of people say he took a downward turn last year. I agree. But overall, I think Baker Mayfield will be a monster. He throws a lot of picks, as does or did Phillip Rivers. So I think he could definitely bounce back. He just had a down year, a sophomore slump. So the Browns are up and their selection is in. So the Cleveland Browns select right, so with the 10th pick, the Browns take Jedrick Willis goes to the Browns. Nice pick by them. He was supposed to be in the top 10, so this is perfect, being as though he is the 10th pick taken. Who did I have the Browns taking? We're going to find out in a second. But Jedrick Willis, great move by the Browns because they need protection. That is one of the reasons why Baker Mayfield played so poorly last year. So I agree with the pick 100%. I don't see anything wrong with that. I think I had them taking a tackle, but I had them taking Mekhi Becton. That's what it was. But Jedrick Willis was arguably the best tackle in the draft, so you can't go wrong with that. I mean, great move. Definitely need help for Baker Mayfield. The fact that they're scrapping pieces, they're trying to figure out how the team fits together because they did have Jarvis Landry. And what was this? But yeah, so I definitely like the move for the Browns. If anything, I would say they need offensive line help, and that's perfect for them. The Browns, they still have a shot at being good, man. I'm not ready to give up on the Browns. It was a down year for them last year, but I definitely feel as though they'll make a nice improvement over last year and get back to 2018 form, which a lot of people saw a lot of promise from the Browns. So that is a great pick for them, man. Next up is the Jets. Now, this is where things get tricky. Now they have, because a lot of people had Jerry Jeudy going to the Jaguars. They had a lot of mock drafts had Jerry Jeudy going to them. The Jets need a wide receiver. They got rid of Robbie Anderson. They traded it to us. They still have Jamison Crowder, but they need another weapon for Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold didn't have a bad year 2 years ago, but the fact that he had mono early last year, the team never really got going. The weapons, Robbie Anderson was a valuable weapon for them. They got Jamison Crowder, who's a great slot receiver for them as well, but you need to get him help. So I'm curious to see. We haven't had a receiver taken off the board yet, and everyone has Jerry Jeudy as the number one receiver. But the thing with receivers, it all depends on how they play in the scheme and which quarterback they played with. I'm a big believer that the quarterback makes the receiver. A receiver can be great, but a receiver can be good, but a quarterback makes the receiver great. I have a lot of examples. One being Randy Moss, when he was traded to the Raiders, didn't ball out. He was still a beast in Madden, of course, with that 99 speed and 97 jumping. But I believe the quarterback was Rich Gannon at the time, and everybody said Randy Moss lost it. Without Culpepper, he just didn't look the same. They wind up trading that pick to the Patriots, trading Randy Moss to the Patriots for a 4th-round pick. And the first year on the Patriots, Randy Moss had 23 touchdowns, which broke Jerry Rice's record of 22, while Tom Brady threw for 50 touchdowns. So, all in all, a receiver can be great. They can be good, but with a great quarterback, that can make that receiver jump as far as production goes, and you see that a lot. That's why when teams like the Bills try to trade for Antonio Brown, you're not getting that same Antonio Brown anymore, because Roethlisberger, not that Antonio Brown wasn't good, but if you look at Roethlisberger's receivers throughout his career, he had Plaxico Burress, Hines Ward, Santonio Holmes, Martavis Bryant. All of those receivers are great because of Roethlisberger. You know what I mean? Like, look at Smith-Schuster 2 years ago. He had I think he had more yards than Antonio Brown. Antonio Brown's last year with the Steelers, and Roethlisberger makes all his receivers great. He knows how to utilize them, and it works well in his system. But if you go ahead and put Antonio Brown on the Bills, he's not the same. And the same can be said for many receivers, you know. But back on the point with Smith-Schuster, Roethlisberger went down early last year, and Smith just, Juju, we're just going to call him Juju. Juju, I don't even think had over 500 yards last year. So that goes to show you, man, a receiver can be great, but without a quarterback, literally diminishes everything. Everything. You know, so that's how it is, man. You have to have that quarterback. And the same thing how I feel about running backs. I feel as though with a running back, if your whole team is set, then yes, go draft that running back in the 1st round. But if you don't even have a quarterback or a franchise QB yet, and you're taking a running back in the 1st round, then what are you doing? You know what I mean? You have to have your team set up, and then you do that. You know what I mean? Like, you got to look at a lot of running backs that were taken in later rounds. Kamara was a 3rd-round pick. You know, Austin Eckler was undrafted. Phillip Lindsay was undrafted. Both are pretty good running backs if they did have that type of volume that you'll see the top running backs in the league have. So it's literally, to me, if you're building a team, it's offensive line, it's quarterbacks, then defensive line, then corners. Everything else, all the in-betweens come last. You know, skill players, that's the thing, they're skilled players. So you might have a guy, for example, in Madden, you might have a receiver like AJ Green who has an 88 speed, catching ability is great. But you also have a guy that has a 94, 95 speed who's ranked at an 80 overall that you can make work with a quarterback or a scheme that would have more production than an AJ Green would. And it's the same thing in the NFL. You know great receivers, but you can also make great receivers. Antonio Brown was a 6th-round pick. You know, receivers that come later in the drafts, Brandon Marshall was a 4th-round pick. All these guys have production but come from smaller schools. You know, so with that being said, the Jets pick is in. The best available are Jerry Jeudy, Tristan Wirfs, Javon Kinlaw, CeeDee Lamb, which is the second-ranked wide receiver in the draft, and Xavier McKinney, who's are the top 5 in Mel's Kiper top 100 available right now. But I'm excited, man. I want to see the Jets do good because they've been trash for the longest, and the Patriots are now, I'm not going to say they're falling off because you still have Bill Belichick there, but the fact that Tom Brady's gone, Gronk's been gone. You know, he's only coming back because of Brady. But the Patriots have a chance. If they can get Jordan Love, they can stay relevant. But the Jets have a chance to swing things. I still don't believe that they're the best in that division. I would have to give that to the Bills, pending what they do in this draft here, especially acquiring Stephon Diggs. I like Josh Allen a lot too, so I think that the Bills can get it going and can finally move in that division with the Patriots seemingly falling off. I don't know how long Belichick has in the league, so I'm curious to see what the Patriots do. I don't have them taking Jordan Love because I do believe the Saints will trade up to get him. And especially with the Saints, you get a lot of Drew Brees every year just pondering retirement. You don't know if he's going to retire or not. With that uncertainty, I say draft the quarterback in the first round. Even if Drew Brees doesn't decide to retire for another 2 years, you have to at least groom a quarterback behind him while you have him that can teach him the ins and outs in Sean Payton's offense. So the Jets selection is coming up right now, and they take Mekhi Becton. So great move. Like I said, a lot of people had them taking a receiver in Jerry Jeudy. I didn't think they did that. I would go offensive lineman, which is the smarter move to help Sam Darnold stay in the pocket. You know, you have to protect your franchise quarterback at all costs. I would not even go in another direction. You saw the same thing with the Cardinals with Kyler Murray. They still had to take an offensive lineman to complete that offensive rotation. So, great move by the Jets. They did the right thing in taking a lineman. A lineman is not the sexiest pick to take, as everybody knows, but the lineman, that's the trenches, man. That's where it all happens. So for you to get a lineman is great, especially within the top 15. And Mekhi Becton, this guy is a beast. They had him pushing a not a tractor trailer, let me not get crazy, a truck with the brakes on. And he's extremely athletic, played basketball in high school. And he's a big dude, man. This guy's like 6'6", 330. So Mekhi Becton, I had ranked as the second best lineman in the draft. Goes to the Jets. Next up is the Raiders, who have their pick of any wide receiver in the draft that they want. I had them taking. I actually had the Cowboys trading up to take Jerry Jeudy, but Las Vegas is on the clock now. The Raiders, if I had to say, take Jerry Jeudy, but you never know. They might like another receiver better. I had CeeDee Lamb going to them as well, so I'm curious to see which receiver they decide to take. But I'm sorry, y'all. Getting back to the chat, Jeff Wood. Yup, Gronk and Brady and Gronk are now on the Buccaneers, which is wild. But the 23 touchdowns was Randy, man. But as far as Julio Jones goes, the closest to him is Henry Ruggs, man. He runs a 4.3 40. He's built like Julio. He's also from Alabama. I think I like Henry Ruggs the best out of all of them, just based off of athletic ability. A lot of people question his hands, but they question the same thing about Julio. So I really think that Henry Ruggs would be a nice pick, especially, in Madden. Henry Ruggs would be a beast. Like, you're getting Julio, basically. So the Raiders pick is in. They have their pick of any wide receiver. I don't see them going anywhere outside of wide receiver either, because the fact that Derek Carr is a fringe starting quarterback right now, and they're showing the video right now with Mekhi Becton pushing this 4x4 truck, this Ford truck with the brakes on, and literally is just driving it down the street. So there's that as well. But Henry Ruggs is definitely going to be a beast, man. I'm not trying to kill anybody's sleeper when it comes to fantasy drafts or anything like that. I know everybody in Gaming Authority is paying attention right now. I'm not trying to give away any sleepers, but Henry Ruggs looks like he could be a low-end option. He's definitely going to have the speed. He's going to be the next Julio to me. But you also got to, in fantasy, yeah, but you also got to look. If you're playing with the Jets, Sam Darnold, I don't think has the cannon to get it to him. But if we're talking strictly fantasy draft, he is definitely a wide receiver to look out for. He'll probably be ranked like an 82 starting off, but the speed and the jumping, all of that is crazy. And sorry, I'm trying to get this mock draft up here. I think I finally got it too. Just like I said, so there's something to look at. Alright, so MP. But yeah, so Sam Darnold gets help. It wouldn't make sense for them to go. I'm sorry. Wait. Yeah, so Tampa Bay is number 14. I have them trading that pick to the Jets. Like I said, when you're talking about mock drafts, man, and you start getting into trades, all of that is all skepticism. It's just all theory. It's not necessarily something that you would expect to happen, but it definitely makes a good mock draft more exciting. All Right, so that's done. All right, I think we have. Yeah, see, so a lot of people are saying CeeDee Lamb, even though Jerry Jeudy is still on the board. So I'm curious to see what the Raiders do. All right, so the pick is in for the Raiders. My man's D is a big Raiders fan, so I'm curious to see what happens with that pick. CeeDee Lamb, they're saying, might be the pick. And yeah, this is the first draft pick by the Las Vegas Raiders. I'm sorry. So yes, I have the mock draft video up, just so you can see who I had slated. Oh wow, they took Henry Ruggs. That's exactly what I was just saying. I said if I had a pick of any receiver, it would be Henry Ruggs, the next Julio Jones, and that is exactly who they took. I really thought they liked CeeDee Lamb better, but like I said, man, this guy is the next Julio Jones, and I think he is going to ball out for them. And that's the crazy thing. Think about this. The 25% of the time this guy touched the ball, it was a touchdown. Like, think about that. 25% of the time he touched the ball, it was a touchdown. Like, that is wild. All right, y'all. So I got that video up. Just my mock draft video, just so you can see who I had slated to each team. But yes, Henry Ruggs, my favorite receiver in the draft. You're talking about athleticism, man. That's what happens. Now, a lot of people, like I said, Jerry Jeudy was considered the best receiver in the draft by many people. Mike Mayock is one of my favorite draft analysts. Every year, he had us taking somebody. The year we had Jonathan Stewart, he called it. Literally knew what he was talking about. So him taking Henry Ruggs is not. I know a lot of Raiders fans are mad because they felt as though, you know, Jerry Jeudy might have been better, but you have to look at how they fit your scheme. Like, you're talking about Derek Carr, who needs a deep threat. You know, he has Tyrell Williams, who balled for them last year on the outside, was a good receiver. Can be a great receiver, but you need to get younger. You got rid of Amari Cooper because you thought he didn't have anything left in the tank, traded him away, but you are now getting Julio Jones. So, Game and Authority, I know you're there. Once you do the fantasy draft, you know, you'll know who Henry Ruggs is early. But yes, the video is up. So right here will be my mock draft video, just so you can see how things are going compared to what's going on. So don't mistake this, because this is not the draft selection. This is not what's happening currently in the draft. This was my mock draft that I've done. So just enjoy that. Just something to look at while we're watching the draft and analyzing everything. But Las Vegas taking Henry Ruggs. Great move. I give them a nice B- for that, just because it's yet to be seen, but he's definitely the most athletic receiver in the draft. Definitely someone who I would have taken in that state. But the 49ers are up on the clock. They have 4 minutes and 24 seconds. They're also in a position to take a receiver. I am not a big believer in Garoppolo. I know there's a lot of Garoppolo fans. I don't know why, but I'm not gonna knock your thought process at all or anything. I'm just not a big fan of Garoppolo. I don't think he should have got that contract at all. Considering the year before they signed him, he was winning games, and that's all that matters to most people. But if you look at the team surrounding him, like Kittle is a monster, definitely the best tight end after Kelsey. Probably Zach Ertz. It's a two-way tie for second place. But Jimmy Garoppolo, to me, did go to the Super Bowl. They lost. But I'm just not a big fan of Garoppolo. That's just my personal opinion. But if you're going to help him out, you need to get a receiver. You have the best receiver in the draft. Consider the best receiver in Jerry Jeudy. You also have CeeDee Lamb. It's all based off of preference when you're talking about receiver, as seen in the last pick for Henry Ruggs. So it's all dependent on how they fit your scheme or what you're looking for out of receiver. But I'm happy that Henry Ruggs was the first pick, because I had Henry Ruggs the third being my top receiver in the draft. I didn't think they would go this early on him, but if I were in that situation, I would have made the same move. So next up we have San Fran, who has 2 minutes and 57 seconds left. Tampa Bay at 14 and Denver at 15. Again, if you're just joining, make sure to go subscribe to the channel and also subscribe to Gaming Authority. If you play Madden and you're a heavy Madden player, we also have a league in Gaming Authority called Daddy's League. Literally have all the statistics, all the standings, everything posted on the website. So if you want to go check that out and be a part of the team, make sure to go check out Daddy's League and subscribe to Gaming Authority for all of your defensive setups and moves, and make sure to purchase ebooks on there as well. Like I said, I'm a big Madden fanatic. I've been playing Madden my whole life from the time I was about 12 years old. And my defense has been lacking lately. No lie, like my defense has been lacking. So I've been sure to check out those videos so I can improve my defense. And I ran it yesterday after watching 2 of their videos, setting up everything. Being able to blitz the quarterback to cause pressure, and definitely got me a lot of turnovers. So if you're a big Madden player, and if you play on Players Lounge, now Players Lounge, for a lot of people that don't know, is basically playing games, competitive games for money, and a lot of people do that with Madden. On Players Lounge, all of these setups that you're seeing that you wouldn't normally see when you play Players Lounge, if you go to Gaming Authority, it will help you out. It will set you up, get your defense on lockdown, and that offense that you are playing will definitely struggle. So playing on Players Lounge using Gaming Authority is great. Wow, so the Buccaneers just traded up in the 49ers slot, and they are now moving up. Who are they moving up for? Wow. So I'm curious to see. I know they need corner help, but they need linemen too. They could go offensive tackle to help Brady out, with Gronk, because that offense is going to be crazy. Before Jameis left, he was getting hit a lot too. So I wouldn't be surprised if they go linemen for the Buccaneers. But I'm curious to see, because I didn't have them moving up, or I didn't even think they would move up. You know what I mean? And Robert Ewan says he's killing it with the Bears. #1 defense. Yeah, defensively, the Bears kill stuff all the time, man. If you did a fantasy draft too, see, it depends, man, because in my last league, I did a fantasy draft. Usually, I would just roll with the Panthers, and just build the defense up. But last year, Players Lounge, the Bears were my team overall. That's who I used when I was playing on Players Lounge, because their defense was just crazy. And I could work with Trubisky. Don't get me wrong. I could work with a quarterback that can scramble. They don't have to be the best quarterback, but they have to be able to run the ball a little bit to work my scheme, my style offense. So Robert Ewan believes, yes, San Fran moved because Judy and CD are both available. That is true. And like I was saying, they definitely need help for Garoppolo, man, because if Garoppolo has a setback year after this, they might think about taking a quarterback in the upcoming drafts, especially because they have a lot of money tied into Garoppolo, you know what I mean? So the fact that they did drop, they could definitely be taking Jerry Jeudy with that pick. I could see that. I can definitely see the 49ers taking that pick. The fact that they moved down, the Buccaneers, I don't know what they're going to do, man, but I guess the 49ers think that one of those receivers will drop to them. I don't see it, but I'll tell you what, who is close? Dallas is close. Dallas, if they need a receiver, which they definitely do, especially given Amari Cooper's injury history, they have to move up and take him. I mean, they have their pick of Judy or Lamb if they can move up, but I know there's a lot of teams right now trying to trade up to get one of those receivers, and I wouldn't be surprised if the Eagles and Howie are trying to make a move up to get one of those guys rather than have a guy like Justin Jefferson or Denzel Mims fall to them. I can see the Eagles getting CeeDee Lamb at this point. What are they? Looks like they're about 8 or 9 picks away, so it might be kind of steep, but we'll see how things go. But the 49ers definitely need a receiver. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, you're in Gaming Authorities League, too. Yup. Yeah, me too, man. I just got killed. I'm the Texans, too, in that league. I stayed with him. I think his name is Slow Joe, something like that. He's the coach. He definitely had me. We started off neck and neck, and then he just pulled off on me, man. I got to get a feel for who's who and how everybody plays and everything, but I'm not making excuses, man. But all right, so the Buccaneers actually made this selection rather quick. I say offensive lineman.
49ers have traded the 13th pick to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
All right, so they traded to the Bucks.
13th pick to the 2020 NFL Draft. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers select Tristan.
They selected Tristan Wirfs, like I said, offensive tackle out of Iowa. This was a guy that a lot of the people had the Giants taken with the fourth overall pick. I'm sorry. So for him to fall this far is not surprising because there are a lot of linemen that were supposed to go in the first round. But Wirfs was considered the most athletic out of all the linemen in the draft and the most agile. And he also ran the fastest 40 yards for a lineman. Like I said, it's a more athletic lineman who can do zone blocking scheme, you know. So I like Wirfs, but I can see why he did fall in the draft. Mekhi Becton, I felt as though could have possibly been the number one lineman, but you know, I think he was the second lineman taken off the board. But Tristan Wirfs, I guess the Buccaneers saw that as an opportunity to move up and get him, because even when Tom Brady's gone and they decide to draft a quarterback next year, they can start working on that line regardless for the next quarterback coming in. So that was a great move. I'm going to give them an A for that move, an A- for that move, especially because they were being aggressive and they know that the Buccaneers are in a win now mentality. So I definitely can't knock them for making that move at all. You know, so I'm curious to see. Oh wait, so the 49ers? Wait, so the 49ers are on the clock again? So did they? Nah, they couldn't trade back up. I can't believe Isaiah Simmons, man. I still can't believe that. We let Isaiah Simmons go. I can't believe they let Isaiah Simmons go, man. But there are still a lot of great players on the board. Javon Kinlaw is surprisingly falling. He's ranked as the second best defensive tackle in the draft. But you know, it's crazy, man. Oh wow, I actually did have Henry Ruggs going to the Jets, but that did not happen. Alright, let me see. I'm trying not to confuse the good people, man. Let me put mock draft at least on here so I don't confuse anybody. Let's see. Let me see. So the 49ers are on the clock and the receivers are still on the board, man. They better stop playing and take a receiver. They have their pick out of the top 3 receivers in the draft, man. 2 out of the top 3 anyway. Alright, so the Buccaneers definitely did get a steal with Tristan Wirfs with that pick. Alright, so that's done. Text. Nah, I can't get it, but it's cool. Just so everybody knows who's watching, this is my mock draft. This is not the actual selection of all players. This is just who I felt as though was going to be the pick for each team starting off. And this one also included trades as well. So the 49ers are on the clock. Jerry Jeudy's still on the board. CeeDee Lamb's still on the board. Javon Kinlaw still on the board. To me, this is a no-brainer move. Go receiver. The fact that they're still there, you have to take them because you got guys like the Cowboys, and the Philadelphia Eagles who could definitely use a receiver. And we're just getting closer to their picks, man. So I can see them trading up. I can definitely see them trading up. But the 49ers have 2 minutes and 52 seconds left with their pick. Garoppolo needs help. They also need, They don't need help on the defensive line as much, but they did lose DeForest Buckner, who was a key piece in that Super Bowl defense. They could instantly replace him with Javon Kinlaw and can add to that first-round defensive line. I wouldn't mind going Javon Kinlaw, but the fact that it's offense that needs work. Deebo Samuel is a beast. Don't get me wrong. Deebo is Deebo, man. He balled out in the playoffs last year, became Garoppolo's favorite target. But he's more of a slot guy to me. If you have a receiver like Jerry Jeudy on the outside, even CeeDee Lamb on the outside, I say Jerry Jeudy because he's faster than CeeDee, but have him on the outside, have Deebo in the slot, and have Kittle. Garoppolo literally only needs one of his tackles, because they did lose another tackle, but that offense would be pretty much set for the next 3-4 years with Garoppolo at the helm if they do decide to keep Garoppolo in. You know what I mean? So we'll see what happens, though. Your reaction to the Panthers not picking Isaiah Simmons is almost as good when they pick. Yeah, see, it's funny, y'all, because this is my girl in the chat right now. When we drafted McCaffrey, I did not want him at all. Like, I'm no lie, I did not want McCaffrey. And the cool thing was, at my job, I actually was working down at the NFL draft, so I got to witness everything down there. I got an autograph by Le'Veon Bell, which was dope. I had pictures. Matter of fact, I think I might make a video of my experience down there at the draft there in Philly. I took a picture with the Lombardi Trophy. What else did I do down there? We saw McNabb. McNabb was talking on WIP down there, which was pretty cool. It's funny because I was looking. My girl was actually doing her best. She was trying to talk to Steve Smith's agent and all that, because Steve Smith was down there, and I wanted a Steve Smith autograph more than anything down there. I'm like, yo, we gotta see if Steve Smith is there. And it was a great experience working down there for the draft, man. We saw Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz was like on the back of the on the motor cart and just chilling. Everybody was swarming. It was a cool experience, man. I'll definitely won't forget that. One of the best experiences I've ever had being down there. Being a VIP member for the draft was one of the greatest experiences that I've ever had. So that was really fun. But yes, I did not want McCaffrey. At that time, I wanted O.J. Howard, believe it or not, because he talked about an athletic tight end, and Greg Olsen was on his way out. But see, that's the thing with the great thing about the draft is that you don't know until later down the line. I mean, you might have all these opinions and all these things that you think will happen, but you won't know until they play an NFL game. There's been a lot of first-round busts. There's been people that have been drafted in the second, third, even the fifth round that have become Hall of Famers, and a lot of first-round picks that were duds. Like, if you look at that draft, the quarterback draft with Tom Brady, literally all those quarterbacks that were drafted ahead of him, literally nobody, like all of them. So with the draft, there's always opinions. There's nothing but opinions. The only fact is when they start playing in the NFL. Same thing, for example, with A.J. Brown, who was selected in the second round. I'm sure a lot of people didn't know about him. But the Titans selected him, and he went off last year. Was in the running for Offensive Rookie of the Year. So you never know until they play, man. You never know. But I'll tell you one thing for certain. When the draft is over, everybody's going to be running to Madden. Because once Madden 21 comes out, that's when everybody starts knowing about these players because of their speed, what they can do in Madden, and you see the potential of what they can be in the NFL later. So that's the cool thing about Madden. That's how I learned football. I learned football from Madden. Alright, so the 49ers are up. The pick is in. I say Jerry Jeudy, CeeDee Lamb. Wow, they did take Javon Kinlaw. That is crazy. Because I actually had them taking Javon Kinlaw in one of my earlier mocks. I'm not sure if I had them in this mock, but that is true. Once you get that money, everything changes, Jeff. That is 100% true, man. Once they get paid, you don't have that same drive. You don't have that same that killer instinct, that same hunger. that you would too. So that is 100% correct. And I feel as though that's more so with receivers too, man. Like with quarterbacks, I feel like once quarterbacks get paid, they're like, all right, I need to show out because I'm that franchise guy now. I have everything literally on my back. The whole team's on my back. Everybody's rooting for me. All eyes are on me. You can literally go team by team and name all of their starting quarterbacks. But the receivers, you pretty much don't know, at least unless they're an elite receiver. But quarterbacks, you always have eyes on you because your city will give you hell. Well, at least speaking for Philly, if you don't perform and you're a quarterback, they're going to give you hell. As it should be, man. I feel like you should give your quarterback hell if they're not doing what they're supposed to be. All eyes are on your quarterback at all times. Make one wrong move or let any quarterback that's behind you, such as Nick Foles, play well, and they'll turn on you like that. Like, literally like that. They did the same thing with Cam Newton. Cam Newton was hurt all last year. What's his name? We just traded him too. I can't believe I don't remember his name. Kyle Allen. Played well last year. I was arguing with Panthers fans the whole year. I was like, yo, y'all hyping Kyle Allen up a little too much, man. You know. But Javon Kinlaw goes to the 49ers, like I said, and they instantly replaced DeForest Buckner, and that offensive line is all first-round picks once again. Javon Kinlaw, that defense was their bread and butter, that defensive line. That's what got them to the Super Bowl, and they just added on top of that. So DeForest Buckner gone, Javon Kinlaw in, and they are back to that dominant defensive line for years to come. And the same thing, that's the thing, man. Receivers fade quick, and running backs fade quicker, man. Like, that's what I keep trying to tell people. You need quarterback and linemen. Like, if you look at the running backs, right? The last 10 years, you're talking about Super Bowl in general. Marshawn Lynch has been the only running back that's been in the top 5 that have won a Super Bowl. And he didn't really win the Super Bowl, but been on the team that led. They were a running team, a running style team. They had Marshawn. I mean, they had Russell. But you look at the running backs, man. You're talking LT. You're talking Adrian Peterson. You're talking about Chris Johnson, who only had 2 or 3 good years. With that 2,000-yard season, he faded. Running backs you don't even think about that were great for 2 or 3 years, like Larry Johnson, running back for the Chiefs, he faded quick. Arian Foster blew off the face of the map. He led the league in rushing 2 years while Adrian Peterson was hurt and he had that suspension. Broncos pick is already in. But Le'Veon Bell, who wanted to get paid from the Steelers, they said no. And then James Conner started balling out. It's all about that line, man. I feel like running backs can do, it doesn't matter if you're a 5th round guy, you can do the same thing that a 1st round guy can. You know what I mean? When you're a running back, it's a little like your main thing is running, breaking tackles, blocking, all of that stuff you can find later in the round. Quarterbacks, not necessarily, and that's the thing. That's why I say draft a quarterback in the 1st round. Take a quarterback over a running back because they fade, man. Chris Johnson faded. Arian Foster faded. Larry Johnson faded. Sean Alexander was good for 4 years. He faded. That's just what happens, man. It's one injury for a running back, and that could be your career. That's why I don't agree with paying McCaffrey that much money, especially because we overuse him too. So that's my whole thing. We have Teddy Bridgewater as our starting quarterback right now. Like, there's no way you should be paying McCaffrey all this money, and we don't even have our quarterback yet. And it's not guaranteed that we will get a quarterback in the next 2 years. But I would be fine with trading back into the 1st round to grab Jordan Love, but I don't see the Panthers making a crazy move like that because it would cost too much. But running backs and receivers, man, that's the thing. Especially if you overwork them. Like, look at Le'Veon now. Like, Le'Veon was the best running back in the league for maybe 3-4 years. Well, best combo running back as far as receiving the ball and rushing alike. But once he went to the Jets, I knew it was over. I'm telling, like, same thing. I talked to my boy Diddy. We argue because he's got a little sports thing too, and we talk sports all the time. And that was one of the discussion. It was like, yo, like, I don't think I wouldn't pay Le'Veon that money, man, because then your whole franchise suffers for a guy who has a higher chance of getting injured. Not necessarily that they will, but has a heightened chance of getting injured. Build on that line and keep that quarterback back there. Get some receivers 1st to the 3rd round, and running backs come and go. But the Broncos pick is in. Speaking of running backs, they got Melvin Gordon. this year as well. They select Jerry Jeudy. Wow. To think that he would drop all the way to 15 for the Broncos to take is nuts. But it's not, Eagles fans, it is not looking good right now because Atlanta is on the board, right? Atlanta is on the board. And they have two receivers. They have Julio Jones and they have Calvin Ridley. So the Cowboys are right after them. And if they don't take CeeDee Lamb, the Cowboys will take CeeDee Lamb. I honestly believe that. But if they don't, I don't understand it. There's no reason why the Cowboys won't take CeeDee Lamb. I had them taking Ruggs. But Eagles fans, if it's any time to make a trade, right now is the best time. And it'll be a slap in the face to the Cowboys, man. The same thing like taking Dallas Goedert a couple years ago. They wanted, everybody knew that the Cowboys were going after Dallas Goedert, but the Eagles made a slap in the face by trading up. This would be the biggest slap in the face because you have the second-ranked wide receiver in the draft about to fall into the lap of the Cowboys. And you know for certain that the Falcons do not need a wide receiver. They don't need one. They have Julio. They have Calvin Ridley. So if I'm Howie, I'm the Eagles. If you don't want to guard Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb next year, then you need to trade up and punch the Cowboys in the teeth right now and take CeeDee Lamb because Jerry Jeudy is off the board now. And I did not think the Broncos would take him or have the chance to take him. I give them an A for that move as well. That's probably the best grade I can give right now is an A, and they definitely get an A for this pick because he fell. You're talking about the top, ranked as the top receiver in the draft, fell all the way down to the Broncos, which is crazy. Their quarterback, who is their quarterback? Let's see. I know he was a rookie. He actually played well last year. Who is the Broncos quarterback? What is his name? It's not Jarrett Stidham because he's the Patriots guy. I forget his name. But all I know is that the Eagles want to punch the Cowboys in the face. If you want to deflate a fan base, the Cowboys fan base right now, Howie needs to trade with the Falcons to get CeeDee Lamb right now. Like right now. That, because if you have to guard both of those guys, I understand the Eagles got Darius Slay. The Eagles are a great team to me. They have great coach, and I'm a big fan of Doug Peterson. Like I said, the Eagles fans, that's a whole different thing. But the Eagles team in general is a good team. They are a good team, and I feel as though CeeDee Lamb, they need to trade up, man. Right now we're at pick 16. The Eagles have the 22nd pick in the draft. They need to trade up with the Falcons. The Falcons wanted C.J. Henderson. He's gone. So literally, I don't see anybody else that the Falcons would possibly grab right now, unless they wanted to go offensive lineman. But I think Howie is doing his due diligence right now to trade up and take CeeDee Lamb. And I know Jerry Jones is shaking in his boots right now. I'm sorry, Jeremy Lamb. CeeDee Lamb. We're talking about basketball. CeeDee Lamb. And I know Jerry Jones is shaking in his boots because he has a feeling that Howie would make a move here. If I'm Howie, that's what I'm doing. You need to give Carson Wentz some help. To me, Alshon's got to be out of there, man. All those troubles and everything that he caused last year, he has to go. And Deshaun Jackson's been hurt. Alshon's been hurt when he's not acting up in the media. Aguilar is gone too, man. A lot of people didn't notice that Aguilar is gone. He is on the Raiders. They need a receiver, but it is not looking too good right now because the Falcons pick is in, and the Cowboys better not move from that spot. If they're serious about winning right now, they need to give Dak a weapon and CeeDee Lamb. They already have Amari Cooper, which was a great trade for them. Gallup is there, but Gallup is kind of like, he's up and down to me. Michael Gallup is a solid receiver, don't get me wrong. But if you get CeeDee Lamb, then you're opening up Michael Gallup too. And I also believe Randall Cobb is going too, and he was good, but his injury history has been bad since he left Green Bay. The Cowboys got to get CeeDee Lamb. I don't see them trading out of that spot, man. And I don't know what the Falcons are going to do either. I really don't know who they selected, but they say that the pick is in for the Falcons. I had them taking Clavon Chason, the linebacker out of LSU. But we'll see. As you can see right here, I have the Eagles taking Denzel Mims. I don't necessarily agree that he's better than Jalen Reagor, but athletically, he would fit the Eagles scheme a lot better. Same thing with Justin Jefferson. I do believe Justin Jefferson may be better than Mims, but I feel like Jefferson is a different kind of receiver. Like, he kind of reminds me of faster Alshon as Mims is take off and go. Like, he's Brandon Cooks, Denzel Mims. So I'm curious to see what the Eagles decide to do. Yeah, and see, Cobb is with the Texans. Yup. Good call. Because I didn't even know he got picked up. And the Texans, man, with that DeAndre Hopkins trade, they're like bringing in scrubs, man. I don't know. They're bringing in scrubs to replace him. Like, what was the point in trading him in the first place? Like, Brandon Cooks is good too, but you need an outside threat. Will Fuller without DeAndre Hopkins, I don't know, man. They're all, think about it. DeAndre Hopkins was the only receiver that stayed healthy for the Texans, right? Deshaun Watson has injury history. He's been pretty, he's been on his feet the last year or two. But you have Will Fuller, who's out, misses 7 games a year. Brandon Cooks, always getting hurt, always having a concussion. And then you get Randall Cobb, who's been hurt for the last 3 years. The Texans need to get a receiver too, and it's not looking too good for them. Their franchise is taking a downward turn since they lost Deshaun Watson that year. They played the Patriots in the playoffs. Everybody had high hopes for them. They also had Jadeveon Clowney during that time. So the team is looking completely different from when they made that playoff run against the Patriots. So Clavon Chason was my pick for the Falcons. Before the trade, I had them taking CJ Anderson with the trade up. But before that, in my mock draft, I had them taking Clavon Chason. I have both of those videos on the channel too. So make sure you like and subscribe, and make sure you subscribe to the channel. I've definitely been on a roll lately as far as videos, putting content out. I have the setup, I have everything I need, so more videos are going to be on the way. So make sure to subscribe to the channel. So the Falcons pick is in. They did not trade the pick. I haven't seen any trade alerts or anything show up for the Falcons. So this should be Clavon Chason, especially since Vic Beasley has been going for the last 2 years. He is a great pass rushing 3-4 linebacker. No, they took AJ Terrell. Wow. Cornerback out of Clemson. He was ranked, possibly supposed to go in the 2nd round too, which is wild. So Clavon Chason is not the pick. That's kind of crazy to me, man. I think that might be the worst pick in the draft so far. AJ Terrell, that gets a D for me, man. That's a D+ for this pick. Considering what was on the board and what they needed. They needed a corner too, but not this early, man. They could have waited to the 2nd round for that. They could have definitely waited to the 2nd round. I do not know why they did that, man. Wow. Yes, that gets a D+ for me, man. And I'm not really overly critical, but considering who was on the board and who they took, it does not match up, man. It definitely does not match up. Yeah, and Jordan Ness, that is true. Elway is looking like a genius right now, man. He definitely is. That was a smart move by the Broncos, man. Smart move. And they already had that one guy on the outside, man. What is his name? I can't believe I'm drawing blanks right now. I'm usually on all of this. But their other receivers pretty good too, man. He became their #1 receiver last year. But what's weird to me is the fact that they took a chance on Melvin Gordon when I felt Phillip Lindsay would be a monster for them, you know what I mean? So I'm curious to see, man. I'm curious to see. I know Elway has a plan for them. I just want to see what it is. You know what I mean? But the Broncos are definitely on the up and up right now. That was a great move by them. But here we go. Eagles fans, Cowboys fans. Cowboys are on the clock right now. CeeDee Lamb is still on the board. Maybe the Cowboys will shock us all, but I highly doubt it with taking anybody other than CeeDee Lamb right now, man. CeeDee Lamb has to be the pick. Like, there's no... And Eagles fans, you should be a little nervous. I'm not saying get all crazy, you know what I mean? I know y'all like, man, get out of here, Dak Prescott. And, you know, you're already used to seeing what you're seeing. But if Dak gets another weapon, it's not going to look good. The fact that he never had two receivers at once. You talk about Dez Bryant. He had Dez Bryant at one point. Then he got Amari Cooper afterwards. And you see how the Dallas offense went off after Amari Cooper was there. I still know Eagles fans remember that game with that Amari Cooper tip pass. I'm not trying to taunt y'all or anything, because I know how you feel about the Cowboys. But I watched this game, and it was an intense game. I didn't even get to see the whole game. I think I was at work or something during that, but the TV was on and they were watching it. And I saw the end of it with the Amari Cooper catch off the tip for the touchdown. That literally deflated everything, man. But the Cowboys and the Eagles will be going at it. We'll be debating Dak Prescott, Carson Wentz for the next 4 or 5 years. It will never stop. The hate, the anger, the hostility will never stop between those two teams. But the Cowboys, if they want to improve their offense, they better take CeeDee Lamb right now, because he was not supposed to be here. He was not supposed to be dropping to pick number 17 to the Dallas Cowboys. Now, if they don't take him, Miami, I don't see how any of these three teams are going to pass on CeeDee Lamb. You have the Cowboys right here at 17. At 18, you have the Dolphins, who just drafted Tua, who needs a receiver, because Devontae Parker only has a couple years left and he's out of there. Then you have the Raiders, who didn't take a receiver. I mean, they did take a... Yeah, they did take... I think they took Ruggs, right? Yeah, they took Ruggs. So, Miami's next. So, between Dallas and Miami, they can't pass on CeeDee Lamb, man. They cannot. I just don't see it. I don't see it happening. Yeah. See, Cooper did fade off, but it's just the fact that their offense with Cooper in there is completely different. Like, you're talking about stopping Dak Prescott with Jason Witten and Zeke. Like, that's doable, you know what I mean? But once Cooper got in there and stretched that field, you can literally do anything you want at that point. You can do play action pass, you can run up the middle, you can do screen plays, because you get so much attention on that one side with Amari. Now, if you're talking about Amari on the one side, CeeDee Lamb, Michael Gallup, Ezekiel Elliott, and Dak Prescott, even though they did lose one of their top offensive linemen, they can replace that later on. Their offense is looking dynamic, and that's the thing. Cowboys always had a good balance of running pass, because I feel like Dak is a game manager, so he doesn't really need to sling the ball or anything, but if he has weapons, they're going to go off. So, Eagles fans, I'm not saying be extremely worried, but just have it in the back of your mind that they might be taking CeeDee Lamb and it could be some trouble. Yeah, Jeff. Look, man. See, the funny thing to me is that the whole rivalry has always been there. But the fact that the Carson Wentz, Dak Prescott thing, because remember, I think a lot of that hostility comes from the Eagles, because remember, people were talking about the Eagles taking Zeke in that draft. So everybody always was thinking about Ezekiel Elliott. So for 2 months, because I believe like for 2 months, that's when before the draft, that's when talk starts speeding up and everybody's talking about the draft and everything. And the Eagles wanted Zeke too. They were debating taking Zeke. And the fact that they didn't, and then the Cowboys took him, and then they took Prescott in the 4th round, and they became their starters, that's when all this started back up and just got intense. So the Cowboys take CeeDee Lamb, y'all. Oh no. yeah, like I said, if they passed on CeeDee Lamb, Jerry Jones is on that stuff, man, because you're talking about the second best receiver in the draft ranked by most analysts, dropping to number 17. Wow. So the Eagles missed out on the top 3 wide receivers. I really thought they would make that trade, man, with the Falcons, especially since they wasted that pick on A.J. Terrell, who they could have got at the Eagles' 22nd pick, man. I don't know. But CeeDee Lamb goes to the Cowboys. I knew they were going to get a receiver. I definitely didn't think that he was going to be available, man. Just says he ain't scared. Nah, man. I'm not saying be scared. I'm just saying it's going to be a little bit different now, man. As long as Amari Cooper stays healthy, which definitely probably more than likely won't happen. But CeeDee Lamb can be a monster. Somebody else that you have to look out for on defense. Darius Slay will lock down Amari Cooper or at least contain him. But Dak's whole thing is if you took away Amari Cooper, Dak isn't as effective. You know what I mean? He can nickel and dime it, but there was no big plays down the field without Amari Cooper. But the fact that you have CeeDee Lamb on the other side now, and you have Gallup, that just opens everything up. So there's like limitless possibilities as to what Dak Prescott could do or what they decide to do with the offense. And it's also going to be different now that Jason Garrett's not there. So we don't even know how they're going to utilize that. You know, they might have him throw deeper passes rather than nickel and dime it down the field. So it's literally everything is up in the air. But I know that was a great pick by the Cowboys. I'll give him an A for that as well, just because he dropped dramatically. He was supposed to be taken in the top 13, 14 picks. They got him at 17, so still around that side. But CeeDee Lamb goes to the Cowboys. Wow. Yes, so Dak Prescott gets a weapon. Eagles fans, now I feel like Howie's going to try to one-up the Cowboys. I feel like that's how their drafts have been, man. Like with that cornerback who used to play for the Cowboys. After he gave that speech that fueled all the Eagles fans, I feel like Howie's always trying to stick it to the Cowboys. So I don't know what the Eagles do, man. You got Justin Jefferson and Denzel Mims on the board. But also, I felt as though Curtis Samuel for the Panthers was expendable. He's a speedster. He's a great guy that can catch screens and stuff like that. But his hands are kind of iffy. And the Eagles might make a move for him. I think he's available for a 4th round. I say that you could trade for them. I also heard that the Eagles were interested. So the Eagles might even go linebacker here. I don't see them doing that because that's not Howie Roseman's persona to do that. It's not his thing. But it's looking a little different now. The draft's most dynamic players are off the board for the 1st round anyway. Like I said, you can get receivers in the 2nd and 3rd round that turn out to be great. Even in the 4th, all the way to the 6th, because they're skilled players, so they still have speed. Just because this guy runs a 4.4 in the 1st round, this guy runs a 4.4 in the 5th round, they both have similar skill sets. One played for a higher ranked college, or somebody played for a smaller D2 college. But they're the same type of receiver, then you go on and get that. But you have to have that quarterback to make that receiver great. Yo, Live says they're trashing their plays right now. Yo, I know it gets like that, man, but I mean, it's yet to be seen. It's definitely yet to be seen. But we'll see what happens. But that was a great move by the Cowboys. I'm not a Cowboys fan. I might sound like, I like the Cowboys because I hate the Eagles, but that's not the case. I love the rivalry between the two. I just fall back and I watch it and I laugh. I do laugh at Eagles fans when they lose to the Cowboys because I know it hurts more. You feel me? I know it hurts more. But that's the only reason why I do that is because the Eagles have been giving Panthers hell. And it's not even just the Panthers. It's because it's my squad. I get a lot of trash talk. I'm a 3 for 4 guy. I love all Philly sports. I'm a Sixers fan. I like the Flyers and the Phillies. It's just the Eagles hit different to me, man. The fans are just so grimy to me. But like I said, Eagles fans are a lot more humble now after the Super Bowl. So it probably just took the Super Bowl for y'all to just be like, I'm not even going to argue. Like, y'all got it, man. We got a Super Bowl, and that's cool. When it came to the Super Bowl itself, I really I thought the Eagles could win, but I was picking the Patriots because you don't bet against them. But I said, and this is exactly what I said Doug Peterson has the balls to beat the Patriots, and that's exactly what won the Eagles the Super Bowl balls. You feel like Nick Foles' toughness, their ability to convert on fourth downs, it took a lot of guts to do all of that. And Doug Peterson has the most guts out of any head coach in the league. He didn't play scared. He played to win it. And he was like, look, we're here. We're playing against Tom Brady. This is what it's going to take to win. And that's what they did, and they won. So that was great for them, man. Definitely great. Right, so let me 1 second. Let me turn this down a little bit. I think the music might be up a little bit too loud, y'all. 1 second. Alright, so we are back. You guys, the Dolphins pick is in. I'm curious to see what they do now that CeeDee Lamb is off the board. I think I had the Dolphins taking Cesar Ruiz at this point, because you would get that quarterback and that center that could work together. He would be the captain of the offensive line. Quarterback manages everything else. They would have a great connection if they did decide to take Cesar Ruiz. But you do have some people that drop in the draft. I say Cesar Ruiz unless they decide to trade back. They did lose their safety in Minka Fitzpatrick, so they could go Xavier McKinney, the safety out of Alabama. I can see them doing that as well. But I don't know what the Dolphins do with this pick. But it looks like, alright, no, that's their GM. But I do believe that, yeah. So that last draft pick that they traded Minka Fitzpatrick for a Steelers first round pick, which got them the 18th pick overall this year. And in 2020, they also gained 5th and 6th round picks, all for Minka Fitzpatrick. So, like I said, this is the pick right here. I had them taking Cesar Ruiz out of Michigan. They could go wide receiver right here too with Jalen Reagor, which I have mocked to them. Xavier McKinney is the other guy I said that they could take. So I'm going Xavier McKinney, Cesar Ruiz with these picks. If I had to say, I would say Cesar Ruiz. I'm going to say Xavier McKinney if I'm the Dolphins right now. And their selection is about to come up. Alright, so here we go. The 18th pick, the Miami Dolphins select Austin Jackson. I forgot he was around. Offensive tackle out of UFC. He was ranked, I believe, the 5th best tackle in the draft. So that is great for them as well. They couldn't go wrong with that either. But that's what I'm saying. See, these teams realize when you get that franchise quarterback, you have to take a lineman in the first round. You need that protection for the quarterback, man. That's what I like about teams like that. I mean, like I said, nobody wants an offensive lineman until you realize what they do. It's literally, for me, quarterback number 1, offensive lineman after that, defensive lineman, corners, and then your skill players, man. So that was great for them. But Austin Jackson, I had going later to the Vikings. So this was around the spot that he would have been taken. Las Vegas is on the clock with their other first round pick that they got for Khalil Mack. That Khalil Mack trade was crazy. But looking back, the Bears have been falling off. Their defense is still a top defense with him, but they did give up a lot to get Khalil Mack. That is why the Raiders have a crazy amount of first round picks in this year's draft. Yeah, see, and that's the thing too, like, Doug Peterson realized this too, man, because Jay Ajayi, when they had that Super Bowl run, you had Jay Ajayi, who was he was a power back but could catch out of the backfield somewhat. Then you had LeGarrette Blount, who literally was goal line and, pound the defense down, and you had Corey Clement take the top off of defenses. So that rotation of running backs killed it for you. And Jay Ajayi was a beast. Even when he was on the Dolphins, he was a beast. But whatever they got, I don't know what the Dolphins have going on with their GM and everything over there. But it seems like a lot of players don't like playing for them. And Jay Ajayi was a complete beast, man. And he fell off too with the injuries. That's the running backs, man. You can't put that much wear and tear on a running back. I've noticed that firsthand with a lot of players, like even with the Panthers. We split D'Angelo Williams and Jonathan Stewart for years, and it worked for us. We had Steven Davis. He was good for a year or two. We ran him into the ground. You have to have a balance. You have to have running backs with different skill sets. Like the Patriots, they're like the team that you have to look at when you're talking about offense and game plan. They literally had their best running back ever. It was Curtis Martin and Corey Dillon. And when they had Corey Dillon, who did they have? That guy, Kevin Folk, who was killing it with the catches out of the backfield. You keep the three-headed monster in rotation, man, and, running backs with different skill sets, you're good to go because you don't have to pay X amount of millions of dollars to this one guy who could get hurt. And then you have to have another guy replace him, and that guy is never the same. And now you just see yourself drafting a running back. But if you do what the Saints did, like Kamara and McCaffrey are just as lethal. There's not really a big difference. But the way the Saints managed them is it was Mark Ingram and Kamara, right? Then Mark Ingram left, then it was Kamara and Murray. And they keep those guys in rotation, man, because they know if you burn a running back out, like, think about it, right? McCaffrey had 116 catches last year for a running back. This is the most ever for a running back. He had 1,000 yards receiving and 1,000 yards rushing. And it only got us 5 wins. So we put the ball in his hands over 400 times. And it only takes one play to get injured. And your guy is literally running through the offensive line and catching the ball. You have more opportunities to get hurt with that. But we are at the Las Vegas Raiders pick, and that pick is in. And I believe this is their second first round pick now. Oh, for real? So Jeff Wood said he played against Corey Clement in high school. That's crazy, man. I'm happy that Corey Clement had that Super Bowl run too, man, because he definitely deserved it. He's a great scat back and he could catch too. It sucks that he got hurt too, Gerald McCoy, yeah, I forgot he went to the Cowboys, man. I forgot about that. I know he was off our team, but I forgot that the Cowboys definitely did pick him up. They're improving, man. They're definitely improving. Wow, the Raiders just took Damon Arnett, cornerback out of Ohio State. I didn't really like Damon Arnett because he's a slow corner, like very slow. He runs like a 4.59 40-yard dash, and for a first-round pick, that gets a D. That just gets a D. That was a terrible pick. They said Damon Arnett could go in the 3rd round. And I don't understand that pick. But Mike Mayock, like I said, he's the draft guy, man. Mel Kiper's nice, but to me, Mike Mayock knows what he's doing. But it seems that since he's been on the Raiders, I don't think he really knows what he's doing now, man. I think he's just all talking for other teams. But when it comes to his own team, I don't understand that pick with Damon Arnett. Because a lot of people said that he would drop to the 3rd. I had him going in the 2nd, but he's a slow corner. That's a guy you definitely don't want in Madden. So everybody in Game and Authority and Daddy's League, stay away from Damon Arnett. You could try to develop him, maybe turn him into a safety or something like that. But as far as a man down, lockdown corner, that's a weird pick for me, man. Wow, that is crazy. And you had other corners on the board too. And they took Arnett. Wow. That was kind of shocking, man. I'm not going to lie. That is crazy though, no lie. But unfortunately, I gotta get ready to go. So I am gonna do the Eagles pick though. For the Eagles fans, I'm gonna do this Eagles pick. Tomorrow I will be around for the entirety of the second and third round. So make sure to join me back here. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. And those of you in the chat that have not visited or know about Gaming Authority, to make sure you go subscribe to their channel. They have all Madden tips on defense, how to get pressure on a quarterback, how to get sacks, how to improve your defense, especially for guys that are highly competitive and play on Players Lounge. You have to know how to get your defense right ASAP, and Gaming Authority is where it's at. If you want to join their franchise as well, that is called Daddy's League. You can follow them on their website as well at daddysleague.com. It will pop right up. The cool thing about this league is they actually keep track of all statistics, standings, rankings, all of that. Make sure to go join that league as well. The best fantasy league I've ever played in. And make sure you go subscribe to them as well. But yes, we are at pick 20. The Jaguars pick is in. I'm curious to see where they go. They went tackle with their last pick. They also needed a receiver, so they could go Denzel Mims, but I don't think that they would do that. But they need to get Gardner Minshew some help. I'm confused. I don't know what to do with this pick. There's a couple people left that have fallen, but they're not really needs of the Jaguars, like a positional need for the Jaguars. But I'm excited to do this Eagles pick, man. Like, no matter how much I rag on the Eagles, I've watched the Eagles play all my life. So, yes, I'm not considered an Eagles fan. It's not that I don't like the team, because I do. Like, Dawkins is my second favorite player of all time. After Steve Smith is Dawkins. So it's Steve Smith, Dawkins, Ray Lewis for me. Like I said, I started watching football around 2003, 2004, like around that area. And those were always the players that stood out to me. Steve Smith is the reason why I'm a Panthers fan. Because he is a beast, like he's tenacious, man. And Dawkins brought that same energy. And I like McNabb, I like T.O., I like Javon Curse. Literally like the Eagles, man. It's just the fans that ruined it for me. But I would like the team. I watch them every Sunday. I don't have a choice. You know what I mean? If I want to watch football, I'm watching the Eagles. I know everything that goes on with the Eagles. I keep up with them. So I will be doing this pick. And I will, like I said, when the Eagles won the Super Bowl, I was like, damn, I got to hear this forever. But I'm happy that I was able to watch all my friends and family celebrate. Like, that's what made it good for me. I was like, you know what? I'm happy that the Eagles won. Because no matter how many years fans have been talking trash and, you know, about my team, once I saw my family celebrate and to see them happy, that made me happy as well. So I'm happy the Eagles did win that, and my family and friends got to see an Eagles Super Bowl. Now, I know it's kind of crazy too for younger fans. For example, my girls' brothers are big Eagles fans. They're like 10 years old. To them, it only took 10 years to see that. You feel me? Like, we're talking about long-time fans that, you know, been watching the Eagles religiously for years, and for them to see it, it was bigger. For the younger generation, man, that's nothing to them. They're like, oh, the Eagles won a Super Bowl. But in order for you to appreciate it more, you had to see the drought. You know what I mean? So I feel like a lot of Eagles fans got to see that. And yes, I do think Gardner Minshew would be good, man. I feel as though that's why they have so much confidence in letting Nick Foles go too, man. Minshew can definitely, he's more of a game manager to me. Like, he reminds me of, like, he's like a Dak Prescott molded quarterback. But I do think you put the weapons around him, which he has. Like, he has DJ Chark, he has D.D. Westbrook. From what I heard, Fournette might be out of there too. I heard that he might be traded. But outside of that, I think Gardner Minshew is a good quarterback. I think he needs to take more chances deep. And I feel like he'll do that. You know, like I said, last year was his first year starting. So he looked good in limited playing time, especially taking over on the fly. You know what I mean? The fact that this whole time he was expecting to play second fiddle to Nick Foles, especially after that contract Foles got. So he wasn't expecting to go in there and, you know, become that starting quarterback. The way he handled it and the way the fans gravitated towards him and the fact that he showed week after week that he could do something until, I'd say, a little bit after midseason when they decided to throw Foles back in there, it completely messed the Jaguars up. But Minshew, I definitely think will be a good quarterback. Definitely. I do have high hopes for Minshew. He said some of us ain't that bad. Look, man, I've been to Eagles games. I've been to 3 Eagles-Panthers games, right? And I remember, yeah, they gave me hell, man. I remember one experience I had. I was on the L, and I had my Panthers stuff on, and I was sitting next to this lady, and she was all decked out in Eagles, had the scarf on and the Scully and everything, and with the pom-poms and stuff. And I was sitting like on the side like this, so she couldn't see my Panthers stuff. And she was like, "Look at this asshole," and I'm like, I don't know, she ain't talking about me. She's talking to this other Eagles fan that was sitting in front of her. And there's this guy on there, and he was holding the strap on the L, or the pole on the L, and he had a Luke Kuechly's jersey on. I'm like, oh damn. I'm like, yeah, even the woman out here is crazy, man, about the Eagles. And I got a whole bunch of Eagles stories that I was just like, wow. Like my first game I went to, I was like maybe 9 or 10, and I went to an Eagles preseason game, and we're talking preseason, and we're talking about people in Eagles gear, and I'm 10 years old, mind you, and they're booing me. Like, they're booing me with my Steve Smith jersey on. And the funny thing is, my moms didn't want me to wear the jersey. She was like, Trev, I don't think you should wear the jersey. It's not a good idea. You know, the Eagles fans are ruthless. And my uncle was like, nah, and they're all Eagles fans. And it was like, they were like, yeah, man, he could wear his jersey. And I was wearing my jersey. I didn't care what my mom said or what she thought. I was like, yo, I'm wearing my jersey. You know what I mean? Like, they don't like it as tough. You feel me? And I'm 10 years old. I didn't care. But they gave me hell in that parking lot, man. They were just drunk. They gave me hell, man. And that's how I see Eagles fans. That's how I see them, man. And you feel me? Like, I wasn't even traumatized, but it might have, you know what I mean? That whole thing, I was like, wow, like this is real. You feel me? Like, you hear the stories of them talking about, speaking of the Eagles are on the clock right now. You hear stories about the whole Santa thing, and you're like, oh, they can't be that bad. And I'm a kid hearing about that, and I was like, wow, like, they're really out here, man. They're really out here. Yeah, that's the thing. Once, like, Minshew slowly declined for like 2 games, that's when they put Foles in, because they're like, look, we paid this man this money, you know, he's got to do good. And Foles wind up stinking it up. Minshew came back later in the year and played okay, but I definitely see that potential in Gardner, and I think they'll be good. So the Jaguars take another edge rusher, Clavon Chason, who I had the Falcons taken. Did not even realize, but yes, Clavon Chason is now the Jaguars, and it's crazy because they also have Josh Allen that they took early as an edge rusher, so they're definitely trying to get pressure on the quarterback. But for the last pick in the first round, I will be doing a video on here, so make sure you all subscribe. But I'll be doing a video with first round grades. Unfortunately, I can't do the whole draft today, but we'll do the second and third round in its entirety tomorrow. But the Eagles pick is in. Who do you have the Eagles taking? A lot of people have Justin Jefferson as the receiver off the board for the Philadelphia Eagles. Denzel Mims is also there. So we're going to have to see what is up. You feel me? We're going to see what the Eagles do. Howie said that they might even trade back, but that was more like an Andy Reid thing, man. I don't see Howie trading back. They need a receiver. Take that receiver right now. Doug Peterson is on the phone. I think his son's right next to him. Look at their receivers the last couple of drafts. They had Greg Ward Jr., Arcega-Whiteside, who hasn't done anything yet. Deontay Burnett, Robert Davis were the last 4 games of 2019. Those were their starting receivers. Now, they need receivers. Justin Jefferson, I guess a lot of people feel as though Howie is a big fan of him as well. But Denzel Mims is the more athletic guy. When you're talking Justin Jefferson, you're talking Alshon Jeffrey. But Justin Jefferson has a slight edge over Mims, but it's all about how you use them, man, how they fit your scheme. If Denzel Mims is the burner you need, you take Denzel Mims. I'm saying they take Denzel Mims, and I'm going to stick with that because Justin Jefferson is Alshon Jeffrey 2.0. All right, let's see. Justin Jefferson smiling right now. Well, his fam's smiling. He's on the phone. Justin Jefferson is on the phone with the Eagles pick. The pick is in. Let's see if the Eagles select Justin Jefferson. And before I go, a quick note. Jordan Love is on the board, and the New England Patriots are at pick 23, which is 2 picks after this. So they might make the move for Jordan Love. I had the Saints trading up to get Love at 18. They did not do that. I'm curious to see if they hop in front of the Patriots. That was my whole thing. I thought the Saints were going to hop in front of the Patriots to take Jordan Love so that the Patriots would not wind up with him. So I'm curious to see what happens to that, which sucks because I won't be able to live stream it to y'all. But again, make sure you all subscribe to the channel. I will be doing more updates. I'll cover the draft in its entirety over the next couple of days. I'll be doing mock drafts. Not mock drafts, I'm sorry. I'll be doing draft grades on everybody and people that I feel as though are sleepers that have not been picked yet. And I will also be doing some vids on Gaming Authority, so make sure to check out Gaming Authority. I will be going over Madden defensive plays that I need to study because I need to get my defense up, and I know in order for me to do that, I will be tuning into Gaming Authority. So make sure you guys follow them on all social media platforms, on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and most importantly on YouTube, so you can see that content firsthand. So the Eagles pick is in. Let's see who it is. You have 3 receivers. You can go Jalen Reagor, Denzel Mims, or Justin Jefferson. Now, the one thing I can say about the Eagles after watching them for this many years, they make a lot of picks that you do not think they would make, like people out of the blue. I know that was more so Andy Reid's tenure, but they've still been known to do that. It's exactly with the Panthers when Kelvin Benjamin was on the board. A lot of people thought he was going to go to the Eagles, and they skipped. So I'm curious to see where they go. Here we go. Let's go. 21st pick. They went Jalen Reagor. Wow. Now, Jalen Reagor is, out of the 3, he's more of a playmaker, a yards after the catch guy. So he's a guy that can catch the ball and break multiple tackles. I know a lot of Eagles fans aren't going to like this pick. I give them a B- for the pick. He's a great receiver, but he fits their system better than Justin Jefferson would. But I did think they would take a burner in Denzel Mims. But this guy is a guy who gets yards after the catch. He reminds me a lot of Steve Smith, and Steve Smith's my favorite player of all time. He's 5'10", 206. He has a running back build. He's one of those running back wide receiver guys. He's pretty fast too. He runs a 4.48, I believe. No. I think he's like a 4.4 guy, a 4.44 40-yard dash guy. So he will be a great player for screens, short passes, things like that, and will be able to turn it upfield and take off. So he can burn you on the deep route, but he is on the smaller side. Like I said, he has a running back build. He's built as much, just as much as Steve Smith is as far as height, weight goes, but he is still pretty fast. Yeah, so you have a guy who has speed and can break tackles as well. So good move by the Eagles. I give them a B-. But yes, thank you all for watching. It was good meeting everybody, man. Hopefully you subscribe to the channel. I will be doing live updates, and I will be on Gaming Authority too. Make sure to go subscribe to them for all of their great content and ebooks. And if you're also interested in joining a Madden league, why not join the best league in the business with Daddy's League, which is run by Gaming Authority. So it's a win-win situation. You play that, you will be a better Madden player, and your defense will be a lockdown defense. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time.